We're at the home of Emerson Ray Niswander at 2201 East Street, North Manchester, Indiana. Present at the interview is his wife Evelyn. The camera woman is Megan Frick, and I am Ashley Lichtenberger. Emerson participated in the Army in World War II, and his highest rank was Staff Sergeant. Alrighty. Emerson, were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was drafted.
You were drafted?
Yes.
Where were you living at the time?
Upper Sandusky. I was teaching high school in Upper Sandusky, Ohio.
Alrighty. Do you remember being sent to boot camp? Training?
Yes, I went via Indianapolis and then to Camp Wallace in Texas.
How was that?
Oh, it was sort of new experience.
In a good way or a bad way?
Well, I was drafted before Pearl Harbor, and the rules were that you'd spend 6 months and then you'd be discharged. Well, Pearl Harbor came before 6 months, and so I was in for the rest of the war.
Right. You were drafted in 1941.
Yes.
How was your relationship with the officers during basic training?
Oh, very, very good. Some of the rules were rather odd to me. For example, one officer in the mess hall, which was about 100 feet long with tables, and you had to take a string and line up all the plates and all the knives and forks in a straight line. That was a little tedious, I thought.
A little bit, maybe. All right, we'll go to your actual war experience. What was your particular job or assignment in the Army?
Well, while I was attached to the New Hampshire National Guard, and this was before Pearl Harbor, an officer from the medical, Major Dahlgren, came over and asked if I would like to transfer into the medical. He said, I see that you have graduated from college and we have college people over in the medical. And I said, well, Major, I have just 3-4 months to serve. I don't care where I am. So he transferred me over into the medical division.
Do you think that was a good move for you in the
Yeah,
long
I
run?
thought, yes, because you didn't have to stand guard, or you had a few privileges that the rest didn't have.
What was your college degree?
I was majored in biology.
Okay. During the war, where did you serve?
I served, well, first we moved to New Jersey, set up around Bayonne. Our unit was a anti-aircraft unit, and we had searchlights, small guns, large guns, 3-inch guns, and these were divided into batteries. But soon after that, we were very early transferred to Australia, and then from Australia we went on the west side, and then we moved to the east side, and then up clear to the north, and finally moved to New Guinea, and then from New Guinea we went into the Philippines.
Okay. Did your unit see any combat?
Well, we were air raided occasionally, and then on our trip to the Philippines, our ship was torpedoed.
Were there many casualties?
No, there weren't. We were lucky that the torpedoes were such that it did damage the ship, but not to the people.
Did you sustain any wounds during your service?
Well, on the torpedo, which hit the stern of the ship, I was just on top of the torpedo and was tossed in the air and had a severe laceration on my leg.
Okay. I think we're going to go to talking about the life while being in the military. For example, how did you stay in contact with your loved ones?
Well, we had, let's see, special letters. I've forgotten just what we called those. But they were special letters. Then occasionally you would write a letter, and all our letters were censored, so that sometimes they were pretty riddled by the time they got home.
Yeah. Did you get sent any special packages from home?
Oh yes, we get some fruit cake that was doused with wine and so forth.
Very nice. Aside from the goodies from home, what was the food like while you were in the service?
Well, it wasn't the best. Many times we'd hold up a slice of bread and count the bugs inside, but generally it was fairly good.
Did you have plenty of supplies to get by?
Well, we lost all our supplies when our ship went down, so that when we were in the Philippines we didn't have any.
What did you do?
Well, a lot of the fellows, when they went overboard, kicked off their shoes. I kept mine on, and so at least I had shoes when we landed. And after a few weeks they were supplied with shoes, and we had clothing and were housed and in tents and survived.
Okay. When you had breaks and were on leave, did you travel?
I only had one break, one leave, and went to a small town in Australia, below Townsville, and had a week's vacation.
Alrighty. Do you recall any humorous events or particularly unusual events?
Well, while in Townsville, we had kangaroos go down the street, our camp street, and we were there in Townsville quite a while, so several of us bought horses, and so we had horseback rides.
What did you think about the people where you were, the native people from where you were?
The Australians were very nice. You had to learn a little bit. On our trip from Perth, we landed at Sydney and went by train to Townsville. And on the way to Townsville, as we passed through different states, the gauge of the railroads changed, so we had to change cars, and then there would be people along the way that when we stopped, we could buy food from them. And I learned that when you said pie, they had a meat pie, but if you said tart, you got a piece of cherry pie or apple pie.
All right. While you were in the service, did you keep a journal or a diary?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you develop any close relationships with people that you were serving with?
Yes, for quite a while, but now most of them have died, so I've lost contact with them.
Okay. Do you remember the day of your discharge, your last day of service? Not the date, but do you remember the situation?
Yes, went to New York, and Evelyn was living on Fifth Avenue in Greenwich Village, and so I had traveled down to Fifth Avenue.
Were you guys already married at that time?
Yes.
Okay. How long had you been married?
Well, I was in the Army for 39 months, so around 4 years.
Okay. When you returned, did you go back to work then?
I wasn't in too good a health. I had yellow jaundice, and so I spent time at my mother's home and recovered during the summer, and then in the fall enlisted at Ohio State graduate school.
And what did you go to graduate school for?
I went 4 years and got my PhD in entomology.
And what was your job after that?
I got a job at North Manchester and taught at the Manchester College.
Did you use any of the benefits from the GI Bill?
Used 4 years of GI Bill.
All right. Did you join any veterans groups?
No, I
after
didn't.
the war? All right. After the war, did you have a family? Or
Not right away. About, let's see, 46 had a son born.
Okay. All right. How did your military experience influence your views about war in general?
Well, the best thing to do is to try to avoid it, because it's not a very pleasant thing.
Did your military experience have any impact on your life after the war?
Well, the GI helped me out so much that I was able to get a degree, and that sent me off on my life's work.
Are there any other stories or anything else that you'd like to add? Talk about?
The only thing would be that in graduate school, I met up with another fellow that had been on a destroyer in the same convoy, and he had an acquaintance on another destroyer who had taken pictures of us in the water, and so I was able to get pictures of our ship and our floundering in the water via these acquaintances. So it was brought back some memories that probably we wouldn't have had other than that.
Do you often talk about your experiences during the war?
Oh, occasionally, yes. With some of the people, some of the friends.
Our kids.
What?
Our kids.
And our children, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, if there's nothing else, thank you very much for
Okay.
your time.